And here is the Writer's Almanac for Friday. It's the 17th of December, 2021. It's the birthday of the novelist Penelope Fitzgerald, born in Lincoln, England, 1916. Family was literary but not well-to-do. The study was the only warm room in the house. She said, "I was brought up in a journalist's home and in a family where everyone was publishing or about to publish something." She didn't start writing a novel until she was 58 years old. Her husband was dying of cancer, and she thought that writing a novel with him would be a way to keep him entertained. The novel was The Golden Child. It came out in 1977, the year after he died. She went on to write 8 more, including Offshore, which won the Booker Prize in 1979. Penelope Fitzgerald, who said, "I believe that people should write biographies only about people they love or understand, or both. Novels, on the other hand, are often better if they're about people the writer doesn't like very much." It was on this day, 1821, that Kentucky became the first state to abolish debtor's prison. There had been debtor's prisons ever since colonial days in this country. Some debtors were whipped in public, but most of them were thrown in jail, and they stayed there until they could pay their debts, which was impossible for most of them. They were poor, after all. In 1787, of the 1,162 debtors put in jail in New York City, 700 of them owed less than 20 shillings. So Kentucky went first, and then Congress enacted a federal law in 1832, and bankruptcy replaced debtor's prison. It's the birthday of John Greenleaf Whittier, born Haverhill, Massachusetts, 1807, grew up in a Quaker family. He was an active abolitionist, writing pamphlets and poems and essays for the cause. And then after the Civil War, 1866, he came out with a long poem, Snowbound. He'd written it for his niece, and to his surprise, Snowbound was a huge success. All about a New England family sitting around a fire, stuck in the house for 3 days during a blizzard. When the second morning shone, we looked upon a world unknown, on nothing we could call our own. Around the glistening wonder bent the blue walls of the firmament. No cloud above, no earth below, a universe of sky and snow. And it was on this day in 1903, Orville and Wilbur Wright had their first successful flight in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. They went there because there were sand dunes that would cushion crash landings and where there were high winds to help get the plane off the ground. But there were a lot of crash landings, and as the Wright brothers left Kitty Hawk on the train going back to Ohio, Wilbur told his brother, "Not within 1,000 years will man ever fly." Here's a poem for today, lines from a very popular song towards the end of the 19th century by George W. Young. "You are coming to woo me, but not as of yore, when I hastened to welcome your ring at the door. For I trusted that he who stood waiting me then was the brightest, the truest, the noblest of men. Your lips on my own, when they printed farewell, had never been soiled by the beverage of hell. But they come to me now, with the Bacchanal sign, and the lips that touch liquor must never touch mine." From an old song by George W. Young. That's the Writer's Almanac for Friday, the 17th of December, funded by donations from listeners like you, now available on PRX for distribution by your local radio station. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.